But a very important thing which has come out, Abhijit, is the role of the social media in the entire thing.
Hmm.
Both in a very insidious manner, in which they are trying to censor certain voices on the Twitter, and also in also promoting this kind of protest. Not just the Black Lives Matters, but also the current these people protesting at the U.S. Senate. Now, what is the role of social media in all this thing, and do you
If
think that is a threat to India in the coming years?
if you remember, I filed a case against Facebook almost 2 years back,
Mm.
hmm, uh, for interfering in Indian elections. I have constantly held that you need to hold Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these people, their management accountable for censorship and whatnot in India. The government has consistently failed to do it. And today, what you see is they feel so empowered that they've locked Donald Trump's account.
Mm.
They've deleted his tweet and they've locked his account. Why? Because it apparently runs against their civic policy.
So what is
Where was their civic policy when these scumbags were encouraging Shaheen Bagh rioters, when they were encouraging Delhi rioters, when they were encouraging these farmers going around picking up polls, when these American trash were going around encouraging BLM and Antifa rioting? Where was the civic policy then?
Mm.
Right? Understand what a danger these people pose. The
Mm.
only place for Jack Dorsey to be is on the other side of a solitary confinement cell for the next 25 years. The
Mm.
only place for Mark Zuckerberg to be is on the other side of a Saudi jail cell for the next 25 years. Okay. Unfortunately, the need that inferiority complex driven need for white validation and social validation, left wing social validation, will mean that India will never take that action, even though India is uniquely placed in a position to take action where private enterprise freedom is not guaranteed under the Constitution, unlike America, where it is. And yet they will not take that action.
Mm. Mm. So
Okay.
do you do
Why?
you, do you think this is coming to India as well? This kind of social media interference?
I'm giving you a written guarantee now. Take a screenshot of this or take a video clipping of this and put it up on the internet. Not during the election. It is going to start right now, where you're going to start seeing the increasing censorship of the right wing on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mm.
And you're going to bhuktify the results in about starting in the next 5-6 months itself. I won't be surprised if they lock down Modi's account in about a year, 2 years' time.
Mm. They can definitely do that, and
Not they can, they will. They're just waiting for the exact opportunity to do it. Make no mistake about that. If you
yeah,
look at the kind of trash that Twitter take on their global leadership policy junkets, or Facebook takes in their global leadership policy junkets, they all come from a certain political point of view.
mm.
Okay. Remember the way this lady was kicked out of Facebook. What was her name?
Uh,
Uh,
I mean, forgetting her name, yeah, but I'm getting the point.
yeah, you know who I'm talking about. She was kicked out after she opposed the locking of a certain Facebook page. All the documents were leaked internally by Facebook employees. And you have a blatant Facebook employee who worked as a Congress whatever, who's what, vice president or something of Facebook, who actually has outrageous tweets on his timeline, who is actually protected and shielded by the company and kept on.
Mm. Mm.
Mm. I think you need to bring serious penal consequences where the algorithms of the this thing have to be shared. Let's be clear, they are already in violation of Indian law. There are the intermediary guidelines which are very, very clear about this. The problem is their guidelines. They haven't been turned into law. And unfortunately, I am less than impressed by the caliber of parliamentarians sitting on our panel looking into these issues. If it is taking you so long to come to a decision that is so clear and straight and straightforward and short, then you have to question the what is happening with those parliamentarians sitting on that particular panel. I have seen the guidelines. I am not impressed by them.
mm,
It creates too much room for confusion and interpretation. This needs to be very clear. If you are an intermediary, you have absolutely zero editorial control. You can't define hate speech, any kind of speech. That's it. The moment you exercise editorial control, you are criminally responsible for everything that happens on your uh, 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 uh,
platform.
platform. And if you censor people, you are still editorializing and you will be held criminally responsible for it. For
Mm,
theft of property, because anything an individual posts on your platform is technically their property. It's their IPR,
mm,
which you have deleted, in which case that is property theft, or it is property damage or destruction. It's like me coming into your house and spray painting all your walls white or pink or whatever it is, right? Their executives have to be held criminally liable in India.
I fully
I
agree.
am telling you this now. And if the BJP fails to do it, I suspect they won't, they will never have the guts to do it because they're feckless. They are too craving of white man's approval and of liberal approval. You've seen this. You've seen the vice president advertise the Hindu.
Mm,
You keep seeing every BJP minister advertise their worst opponents who keep abusing them day in and day out. Not one of them will ever share Op India or Swarajya magazine articles. They will only share, this kind of
I think you
rubbish.
called them Nazi and fascist.
Exactly. And, I think those left wing papers, they've got it down to a fine art. They will keep blackmailing you till you advertise with them, saying that, we will tone down our attacks unless you advertise with us. It's an extortion mechanism, but they will also give you social validation. But tell me, what does it tell you about a caliber of leadership that accepts the left's abrogation to itself, to
Mm,
give out certificates of intellectualism, of intellectual depth,
mm,
of being a leader or being a statesman or whatever? Hmm? Uh, it's really pathetic.
mm,
In this case, I admire the left. They've been, in spite of losing every single election, of losing everything, they are still able to exercise social control, that they have the right actually dancing to their tune, or at least the leadership of the right dancing to their tune.
mm.
Hmm? The right leadership, not just here, but across the world, but much more so in India, behave like trained circus monkeys. You dance for a few bananas.
Well, in fact, they are doing that. So they did a fact check on Amit Malviya's tweet. They did the same thing on Amit Shah's handle. They took down his picture or something. I think that was simply a test run for the bigger things to come.
What happened to them after doing that? Nothing.
Nothing, nothing. So they have tested the water and they've
They've
tasted the
tested the
salt.
water, they've seen it, and nothing's happened.
Mm. But do you think, yeah, please.
No. I've told you. If you remember, we've discussed this for almost a year, and I've told you that social media is the single biggest, most dangerous threat to election and institutional integrity in this country.
Mm,
Okay, and it is not the fact that people can express opinions on social media. It is the fact that social media companies get to editorialize those opinions.
mm, mm.
Okay, decide what is fake news, not what is fact check, what is not. And remember, even those fact checks are so completely flawed.
Yeah.
They're opinion checks, they're not fact checks.
Mm.